Hi, I'm Jamie from the Paddock Blues podcast. I've been asked to give my thoughts on Everton Football Club so far this season and to preview the game between Everton and Tottenham at the Hill Dickinson Stadium on Sunday afternoon. Everton's season so far, I would probably say has been a positive one. A couple of negative results in there, which obviously Wolves in the Cup wasn't the greatest. Bad way to go out the Cup. And then obviously you've got the likes of the draws against West Ham and Aston Villa at home, which are always frustrating, especially the form West Ham have been in and the form Aston Villa were in at that moment. Couple of losses, which is at Anfield, which isn't that easy ground for Everton to go to, but give a very good account of ourselves. And the same with the Etihad. Lost 2-0 to probably the best striker in the world at the time, just sniffing out a couple of chances and taking the game away from Everton, which they were thoroughly in the first half. So overall, very positive. Jack Grealish playing really well. Iliman Ndiaye playing out of his skin. Dewsbury all, signing contracts down to the likes of Jordan Pickford, James Tarkowski, and Jared Brandtwaite in the summer, which are big pluses. David Moyes has already spoke about a new optimism within the fan base, and I think he's right to do that. There is a new optimism, we're not sort of looking over our shoulder anymore. We're trying to look up the table as much as we can, but Everton have got to sort of start doing that and becoming the football club that we once were. Getting into Europe, it'll take time, but I think there's a newfound sort of optimism within the fans, I think, as well. Moving from the Hill Dickinson, from Goodison to the Hill Dickinson was always going to be tricky. I think a lot of people thought it would be a little bit of a rocky road, a slow start, but it's been anything but that. Six unbeaten going into Sunday. Played some good teams as well, which is Brighton, Crystal Palace, who were unbeaten in 19 at the time. You were absolutely flying, and Everton sort of took the sting out of them and won. Stayed in the game in the first half and used the home crowd for the first time at the Hill Dickinson and sort of got the win. Jack Grealish scoring the winner, which is always a positive as well when your new signing who's playing well finally gets his goal. On the field, negativity, probably see the striker situation we've got isn't the greatest at the moment. Neither striker sort of staking the claim for that number 9 shirt. I know Beto wears it, but it's not really his at the moment. You can see Barry and Beto both in and out of the team, coming on at half time and stuff, so changing it, I think that is probably a negativity that needs sorting in January, which I think David Moyes will go out and actively try and find a centre forward that will stake a claim and be Everton's number 9. Sort of looking forward to the game on Sunday. I think the game is very bit of a cagey one for me. I don't think any team can sort of go into it with knowing that they're the favourites to win the game. I think both teams have got confidence in their own ability, but I think the game is a bit of a team that both teams need a win, a massive win as well. Everton need to get that sort of first win under our belt over a big 6 team, a team that are in the Champions League, if you like, and Tottenham will be the first sort of team that we played to do that. So I think Everton have got to look at that and use that as an opportunity. Tottenham have obviously had some good results this season. Manchester City at home, Leeds away. That was a good result. And then obviously they've struggled in the last couple of weeks with getting beat by Aston Villa. Drawing to Monaco at 0-0, which is it's not an easy game, but Tottenham would probably like to think they could win that. So I don't think either team can sort of be full of confidence going, yeah, we're definitely going to win this one. But, Everton should use their home advantage, which it is. No matter who you're playing, if you're at home, you should always fancy yourself. So Everton have got to sort of use that advantage that they are at home, and sort of hopefully that is the advantage that gets Everton the 3 points. My lineup, I was thinking about my lineup. I've listened to David Moyes' press conference, and he seems pretty sure that Jake O'Brien will play right back. Now, I'm not 100% on that. I think he will anyway. I think it'll be the same team that started against Manchester City, but I think you'll see Jack Grealish come in for Charlie Alcaraz, which is unfortunate because Alcaraz has played quite well in the last 2 games, especially against Crystal Palace. I thought he'd done really well. So, and it's always hard against Manchester City. They like to keep the ball a lot, and it's hard for a midfielder. But I'd like to see James Garner go in at right back and Jake O'Brien go in at centre half, and just sort of make Jake O'Brien feel comfortable and natural in his position. That's where he plays. James Garner can do a fantastic job at right back. Sometimes you think he is a right back and not a midfielder, but he's been brilliant this season. I think he's been a revelation under David Moyes, so I think he would slot in there at right back no problem. And then obviously you bring Michael Keane up the team, who I think Michael Keane's played really well this season. I don't think it'd be anything on him. I think it'd just be Everton trying to sort of be a bit more wary about the pace going down the left hand side of Tottenham's team, which Jake O'Brien struggled with in the last few weeks. A pacey winger, Doku, Mitchell, Somerville, I think they've all given him a bit of a bad time. So I think he will be looking at that to sort of show that up and stop that happening, stop crosses getting into the box. So James Garner going on right back would be the one change I would make, and then I'd keep Charlie Alcaraz in the team, and just sort of have Idrissa Gueye, Charlie Alcaraz and Kieran Dewsbury as the three midfielders. The team, to be fair, that would probably be my lineup going into the game, because that would get the best out of the players that can hurt Tottenham, in the likes of Iliman Ndiaye, Jack Grealish, Kieran Dewsbury, Beto, if he gets his shooting boots on, gets a little bit of confidence in him, he can be playing well. Charlie Alcaraz, if he does actually play in that midfield role with them two, he can hurt Tottenham as well, the way he drives with the ball forward, and he's always wanting that forward pass. I think he's got a lot to offer in that midfield. So that would be where I think Everton can hurt Tottenham. I would usually be set here thinking, get corners, get wide free kicks, lump it in the box, see what we can win. But Everton can hurt teams on the floor now. We've got, as I said, Jack Grealish, who likes to run at people, wins free kicks in the wide areas. He's now sort of, as you've seen against Crystal Palace, he's starting to shoot more, which he's been asked for by the manager to start shooting more. Iliman Ndiaye is incredible. He's best player on even though we've got beat 2-0, he was the best player on the pitch against Manchester City. The Lordets sort of round him that day were fantastic. He was mesmerising to watch. I think if he's on his day, he can hurt any team, not just Tottenham Hotspur. He can hurt any team in the Premier League. So I think that's where Tottenham have got to be a bit wary. But they've got their own sort of threats going forward. Richarlison always likes a goal against Everton. Mahaba Kundus has obviously worked with David Moyes, so he'll know sort of how he's going to set up. You've got, Brendan Johnson and Tottenham have got a bit of an injury list at the moment, but they've still got quality on the pitch. Matthias Tel can hurt teams. So you've got Pedro Porro, who's really good at fullback. You've got Jed Spence, who's coming back from playing for England. He'll be full of confidence. So I think Tottenham have got their own sort of threats, which Everton have got to try to stop, and use ours as well. Get on the ball, give the ball to our main men, and let them do what they do. I think one player I would take from the Tottenham team at the moment would probably be a Richarlison. Now, I know people might go, well, he's injured all the time, but I think he loves Everton. I know Tottenham fans don't want to hear that, but I think he does. I think he loves Tottenham as well. I think he loves whoever he plays for, but he's just got that special connection with us, and we love him. I know it sounds mad for an ex-player who scored, I think, 3 or 4 goals against us, but we still have this thing for him. I think he'd love working with David Moyes. I think he'd love working with the 2 wide players in Grealish and Ndiaye. I think he'd thrive on working with the likes of Alcaraz and Dewsbury all behind him, where he wouldn't need to do as much running. He wouldn't need to be, doing doggies around the pitch to go and get the ball back. He can just focus on, winning the ball, holding it up, taking men on. So I would like that. I'd like Pedro Porro. I think he's a really good right back where Everton have struggled, as I mentioned before. You're putting James Garner in a right back, which, he's a midfielder at the end of the day. I think to have an out-and-out right back in Pedro Porro would suit Everton massively. Jed Spence, I think Everton's 2 full-backs, definitely need sorting. So them two definitely come into the question. But if I had to have my hat on, Kundus, fast. Everton have got no pace. He's quick. He's skillful. I know we were heavily linked with him before he went to West Ham United. So that is someone that obviously can hurt Everton and someone that we would sort of thrive with in our team. But I think purely using my heart would be definitely having Richarlison in the team would be amazing. The sort of the Tottenham players I fear the most would be the ones I've just mentioned. I think Tell, he's a good player. He's put himself about. He's quick as well. He's not sort of scared of a tackle to get himself involved. You've got Kunders who can definitely take someone on and hurt you on the break. You've got Brennan Johnson who's very good as well. He can, whether he plays or he doesn't, he can come off and he can definitely make a difference. Birdwell as well. He's really good. Playing well this season, very well this season. Pedro Porro from that overlapping right can hurt teams, especially with his deliveries as well on corners and free kicks. So, and then obviously you've got the likes of Romario who is massive on corners, and Everton need to be wary of that. So Tottenham have got threats throughout the pitch. I don't think you can sort of nail one and go, if we sort of keep him quiet, we can keep Tottenham quiet. I think they can sort of hurt teams. Thomas Frank's a very good football manager, and he'll know sort of how to get the best out of all of his players throughout the 11 to hurt Everton. But equally, Everton have got them players as well, so I think that's why it'll be quite a bit of a stalemate, as in the way of both teams have got players that can hurt each other. It's just sort of who uses them better, in my opinion. My prediction for the game, I don't really like doing predictions, but I suppose here I am. I would say 2-1 Everton. I think being at home is a massive advantage. Jack Grealish has basically had a month off, not playing for England, and then obviously coming back and can't play against Manchester City. I think he's had a good few weeks off now, 3 to 4 weeks off, so he'll be chomping at the bit, especially after his last game scoring the winner. Iliman and Dye's coming back off a really good game against Manchester City, and then we got beat, but a lot of teams will, apart from Tottenham. But I think you can take a lot of positives out that game, which is very rare to say against Manchester City, but Everton can use that as a springboard and say, listen, realistically we should have been 2-0 up against them. Take these chances and no one can live with you. So Everton have got to go out and give a very good performance at home. Your home matches are the most important. If it was away from home, and you ask me would they take a draw, probably, because obviously Tottenham away isn't a place where Everton have got a great record, especially over the last few seasons. But at home, no, Everton have got to win every single match at home, no matter who we're playing. And if circumstances come and Everton score a last minute equaliser, then obviously that's when you go, well, you take the draw. But before the ball's kicked, Everton have got to go out and try and win the football match, as well as Tottenham will. Tottenham will come for a draw, Tottenham will try and win, but Everton have got to make sure we use that home advantage as much as we possibly can. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. I'll be there. Looking forward to as much as I can. Like I always enjoy playing when we play Tottenham at home. There's always a good atmosphere. It's probably the first big game we've had at the Hill Dickinson since the Brighton one, which was the first ever one. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully Everton can get the win. But I think we've got to be wary of Tottenham and give them the respect they deserve. They're still a very, very good football club with a very, very good manager. But hopefully I can come back on, give a reaction to an Everton win, and we can go from there. So thanks very much for having me on your show. If you want to give us a listen, we are the Paddock Blues podcast. We're on all social media and we're on all platforms that you get your podcast from. Just go there, drop us a follow, drop us a like. It would help us massively. And thanks very much for having me, and up the toffees.